Welcome to Northern Business Leaders in association with the professional services firm Deloitte. In this edition, we're going to look back at some of the special interviews we've conducted with people who are running organisations which are making a real difference to the economy of the north of England. Throughout 2019, I've met some very interesting people. Take Richard Harpin. Richard founded HomeServe, and he's also one of Yorkshire's richest men. When I met him in Yorkshire, he told me all about his starting journey in business.
The first business was mail order fly tying materials.
Right.
So I don't have the patience to fly fish myself, but learned how to tie flies and sold them to local fishing tackle shops, and then thought, hold on a minute, they're making all the money. What I should be doing is importing all the feathers and hooks for other fly tyers to make flies, and so that's what we did. And started there was no internet in those days, so this was a mail order fishing tackle business set up with £100 at the age of 15.
A growing business based in Newcastle is the High Street Group. Its chairman is Gary Forrest. The valuation of these various investments and buildings is now at around £1 billion. He showed me his latest venture, which is really changing the cityscape of the city of Newcastle. It's Hadrian's Tower, a build-to-rent development just near St James's Park. On floor 19 of Hadrian's Tower, not quite the top, but near the top. What a view!
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? Imagine living in here.
Fantastic. Northumberland, the Tyne, you can see Tyne Bridge and the Sage.
Yeah.
Tell me about this building in numbers.
We've got 27 stories, 162 apartments. We've poured 6,000 cubic metres of concrete. We've got a sales value of about £46 million.
And a GVA?
Yeah, 46 million.
46 million, fantastic. And the view is great, but and by the way, just behind us, we can see Sir John Hall's St James's Park.
Yeah, just a little bit higher, we might have been able to see a game on match day.
The north of England has some iconic brands. One such brand is Black Sheep Brewery. I met the chief executive, Rob Theakson, at the brewery's headquarters in Massam, North Yorkshire.
This is the engine room of a brewery. You know, this is the moment where we turn a sugary kind of liquid into an alcoholic beverage. So these are traditional Yorkshire Square fermenting vessels, and before you say it, I know they're round. That was an adaptation that we made, easier to clean. Squares have corners. Traditionally, because they were made out of stone, slate, you needed square sections of them in order to put them together, whereas stainless steel allows you to make and create a more rounded version of it. So these are the classic Yorkshire Squares. These came from Hartley's in Ulverston, which is now deceased as a brewery, made out of Welsh slate, very traditional. A cracking vessel, but very difficult to maintain temperatures in. Temperatures in brewing are very, very key.
The north of England has some very impressive female entrepreneurs. We've met quite a few of them while recording Northern Business Leaders. My colleague Natalie Sykes met Sharon Lane, who runs Tees Components in East Cleveland. The company is a high-end specialist manufacturer, and Sharon told Natalie about her business journey and how being a woman made a difference.
How was it being a girl in the 90s in an apprenticeship?
Yeah, I was. So I was just one of just a handful of girls in the training centre. So you did get used to kind of always being the only one and getting, you felt a bit the odd one out and being, looked at, and you felt a bit. But I think that actually gives you lots of good skills that are very helpful for life generally. I do workshops now with some girls and young women, sort of general skills for work and different situations. And one of the things that I always do with them is what to do when you're the only one like you. Because I think actually that happens lots of times. It might be that you're younger than everybody else, which I often felt as well when I went into management, or because of your gender or for some other reason. So I think that it did me a lot of good, to be honest, to be in that situation. I think that it taught me a lot.
Natalie also met Zandra Moore, who founded and runs Pan Intelligence, which is located just near Leeds Bradford Airport. Zandra is very keen that entrepreneurs who run businesses also maintain strong connections with their local community, even if that means getting involved in things that aren't directly related to the business itself.
So my children are now 13 and 11. My daughter was playing football with boys, and you get to an age where suddenly boys realise that there's a girl on the pitch with them, and the dynamic changes. The club that both my children played at didn't have a girls' team, so my daughter, who has absolute faith and belief in me, said, "Mummy, you can do anything. Let's set up a girls' football team." And how can you answer anything but okay when you have that kind of unfaltering belief in you? So I became an FA football coach and trained to do that, and now I have 47 girls across 3 age groups. I coach the under-14s, and I now have a deep love of football and follow Leeds United with passion and disappointment, but it's a real joy, and it's a real joy to be able to enable young women to embark on a hobby that really gives them the foundations for life skills, which actually really translate to the workplace, and team building and working together and playing to your strengths are all things that from sport really translate into the workplace. So it's become a passion I found, and one I don't think that will leave me either. So
customer service is one of the most important elements of a successful business, and throughout my interviews with Northern business leaders, this has come through as a very strong narrative. Robert Forrester is the Chief Executive of Virtue Motors, based in Gateshead in the North East. It has a group of car dealerships, over 100 strong, turning over £3 billion. He told us about the importance of customer service.
I think we have to evolve. Customers have got different expectations when they walk into an Apple store or any retail outlet now. They're getting a very good experience in many cases. They're used to pressing Amazon and getting something delivered after 24 hours, certainly I am. And we clearly have to respond to that. We are held to the same standard as other retailers. And manufacturers clearly have that in mind. We don't want to be left behind, and clearly we're not. And with the power of the manufacturers behind us, as well as the financial power in the sector as well, we can make that investment, and this is a good example in this dealership.
Meeting people who run Northern businesses has been great fun in 2019, and I've got some great interviews lined up for 2020 as well. We've already put one in the can, and that's Sarah Davis of Crafters Companion. You can see the full interview in January, but here's a taste.
This shop is one of the typical ones of your shops, because it's not just selling all the lovely things, but in parts of the room there are learning centres, educational areas.
Well, the big thing that I've learned about retail in modern days is you've got to do it different. The high street's struggling. You can't just expect to do the same as before and hope it's going to work, because quite frankly it won't.
I hope you'll stay connected to Northern business leaders through our various platforms and business groups, including the Northern Business Leaders Group on LinkedIn. We'll be bringing you more stories and commentary from people who are running Northern businesses in 2020 in association with the professional services firm Deloitte.